Alright guys, so ProXR just recently released the next iteration of their somewhat popular and, to be quite honest, polarizing Zane signature paddle, and basically made one major change. It's no longer ugly. Okay, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Till next time, just kidding. ProXR has done a bit more than that. They have introduced the same paddle in a new shape and core thicknesses as well. The Zane signature paddle is a perfect example of if it ain't broke, just make it prettier and give us some more color options. It kind of reminds me of smartphone manufacturers needing to release an update to their current product, but decided to just change the aesthetics, give you some new colorways and call it a day. And quite honestly, I'm not even mad at it because the original ProXR was one of my favorite paddles, aside from it being super ugly. It was an elongated paddle with great spin, good pop, and very maneuverable in the hand. The low swing weight in a 16.5-inch paddle was something you didn't see in a lot of other elongated paddles at the time, and honestly, still don't see that often. My only gripe about the old ProXR was that it was pretty unforgiving and the sweet spot was kinda small on it. Now, the ProXR has fixed some of these issues in their latest release, but the question is, did they make improvements all around? That's what we're about to find out. So stick around to the end of the video for some alternatives as well. So let's get into it a little bit. First and foremost, the aesthetics, which is a huge improvement over the previous model since they reduced Zane's logo, which was so predominantly tramp stamped on the bottom of the paddle face, off center mind you, which made it even more ugly. The latest version is much more subtle when it comes to showing its adoration of Zane. The new aesthetic also shows off the sharp angled graphic, which I presume to be an enlarged cropped portion of the ProXR logo. What's kind of cool is that they extended the graphic beyond the paddle face and it wraps around the edge guard, which I think is a pretty nice touch in my opinion. Speaking of edge guards, we now have a variety of colors from blue, arctic, purple, pink, orange, white, and black. So you can go wreck your friends or get wrecked by them in style. But does it play as good as it looks? Well, I think so. The signature ProXR has always had great spin potential and was and still is one of the grittiest paddles on the market. I know a rough texture isn't the be-all end-all when it comes to spin, but it definitely doesn't hurt. What kind of hurts, but honestly doesn't really hurt the playability of the ProXR, is the increased swing weight. Even though it thinned out a bit from 14mm to 13mm in this latest version, it's actually gained some weight, but in a good way. The new ProXR has been hitting the gym and eating right. It now has some muscle and can plow through the ball from the baseline thanks to the foam injection in the perimeter of the paddle. This is the reason for its now higher swing weight compared to its predecessor, but I think the trade-off is worth it for the most part. You get a better sweet spot, stability, and power overall from the new ProXR, and the swing weight is still in line with other elongated paddles out on the market. Now, I don't know if you guys out there will like these changes more, but I definitely like these changes, and what I really like is for you guys to hit that thumbs up button for me on this video. Thanks. One thing I really do like that ProXR did was introduce some new shapes and models. Now, does that sound familiar? Which is honestly a great thing. You can now choose from their new Max Sweet Spot model, which is more of a standard shape paddle and is a little shorter and wider than the Zane signature model. Like the name suggests, it has a larger sweet spot and more hitting area in the face. Other than that, it's pretty much identical to the elongated version and comes in all the new colors as well. I found the Max shape to be quite forgiving and performs just as well as the elongated signature. ProXR has also introduced both these shapes with 16mm core options if you were looking for even more forgiveness from these paddles. ProXR didn't send me the 16mm variants and I didn't have a chance to use them, so you're going to have to find some opinions of some other reviewers or players if you want the details on those. I'd assume they are also probably very good and slightly higher swing weights because of the thicker core, so that means they will probably feel less fast when engaging in hand battles, but that's just my assumption. Now, if you don't like Zane or ProXR for whatever reason, then here are some alternatives for you. First of all, you have the Thrive Rush 13mm. If you still enjoy a very maneuverable, elongated paddle that has some pop to it, I highly recommend the Thrive Rush 13mm. You can choose the 115 swing weight and it will play much closer to the original Zane ProXR signature, but with a better sweet spot performance and a bit more power as well. Next, we also have the Carbon 1X 14mm. Carbon offers the elongated 14mm as well as a 16mm in their 1X line that is similar in specs when it comes to length. If you are more on a budget, then the Huarache X 14mm and the Vatic Prism Flash also come in elongated options now as well without sacrificing too much of anything in terms of performance. So if you were looking for a solid all-around paddle with top tier spin potential, good pop, decent power, and some fresh colors, the new paddles from ProXR should be on the top of your list if you're willing to pay the kinda hefty price tag of $210. Although I think the paddles are great, I would be lying to you if I said I wasn't a little bummed about the increase in higher swing weight of the Zane signature model, because that's what kind of made it special, at least in my opinion. I think what made me like the original Zane signature was the fact that it was a very fast, elongated paddle. To be quite honest, if it wasn't for the fact that these paddles weren't endorsed by Zane, these paddles would probably just have been almost boring or run-of-the-mill. But they are boring or almost boring in a way, and that's okay. These paddles just sort of checks all the boxes and performs really well in every category. All right, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Codes and links are in the description. Till next time, play better. Peace.